is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, brought to you today on the Russell Street Report, courtesy of DNL Tinting. Go check out dltinting.com for all the services they can provide you. Multiple locations around the Baltimore area, dltinting.com. Today we are going to be going back to the Green Bay Packers game and taking a look at Andrew Vorhees to basically answer the question, do we have a starter? This is a guy that obviously, if you watched my preseason week 1 video, I was very excited about. The flashes in that game were tremendous, a lot of good stuff. Less so in game 2, and then in game 3 it was kind of a bit of good and a bit of bad. So I mean, this has been a very inconsistent player. We're going to take a look at what some of those inconsistencies are, if they've gotten any better throughout the preseason, and try and get an idea of what to expect week 1, because I do think this is your penciled in left guard. The big change was Ben Cleveland stepping in to play those left guard 2 snaps behind him, so it'll be interesting to see who they roll out against the Chiefs in week 1. So we're going to start with his pass pro reps. Obviously, this is where the inconsistencies are coming from. So we're going to see Vorhees here with a 1 tech up on him, and we're going to see really nice clean rep, really good anchor drop. And if you guys have kind of followed me on Twitter, you know I'm looking for that inside hand placement, and you're going to see right here he hits his hands nice and quick, and the defender has his hands still without any of his jersey, so he makes that contact. And then this is what he does so well. If he's able to get his hands on you, because it hasn't been having his anchor run through, it hasn't been anything other than that, it's getting those that hand placement consistently. But this is what the reps look like when he hits his hands, and so this is what gets me excited, because this was a real nice cleanup. See right there, locks him in, and then he's just chugging his feet because he's got that grip strength and all of the leverage, and that's really what we need to see more consistently out of him getting into the next rep. Now we got a 3 tech head up on him, and you're going to see here we got an outside edge outside the tight end, so that's probably who Jones is going to be getting kicked to. They're going to blitz, so he's going to take the 3 tech across his face. Same thing here, so he's going to reach a little bit, and he's going to try and land that inside hand and then drop that anchor. And then they kind of have a late twist game here. It was kind of a funky play. But what I like to see here was the reactiveness with that inside hand. We see that inside foot drop back behind his outside foot. So don't like to see that, but he recovers pretty well right there. And then we see that nice diagonal plane as he's going to kind of push here. And then he starts to squeeze as that late penetrate man kind of comes through. So really weird kind of twist there at the end, but getting that hand out and stabbing right there as he's trying to cut across his face, and then reestablishing his feet. That's what I want to see. That's pretty consistent, pretty strong hand placement, and he's able to. Once he sets that was a terrible throw by Josh Johnson. Once he's able to kind of get those vice grips on, he's able to use that natural strength that he has and drop his anchor. So now we got a wide line up here. So this was something that he was kind of struggling with, getting out in space. So we have a 4 tech over the tackle on both sides, and then we have the wide edges here from the Packers. So we're going to get out in space, and we're going to process that game pretty well. So he's going to get out. So they're going to run a twist. So 96 is going to try and penetrate, and hope what they're hoping is going to happen is Vorhees is going to follow 96, and the looper is going to be able to come into that moving A gap. So he's going to push and then pick up the edge coming in, drop the anchor. He tries to jump for a batted ball, and Vorhees punishes the jumper, which is what we want to see. So had some concerns about him processing line games. So just to kind of see that pick up right there. And again, kind of both good hand placement. He's on the first defender. He's using that outside hand just to kind of push him outside. But we're good there. He's got, right there, we got good hand placement. As he starts to recognize the loop's coming, he comes off and then re-punches. And that's exactly what I want to see. And good physical strength there at the end to punish him for jumping. Now we got that similar wide alignment. So we got 4 techs here over top of the tackles with the edges. So we might have to get out in space again. And he's going to one-up him here. And then kind of a similar play, except the penetrate man is flipped here. So we're going to get that penetration coming here. So he doesn't quite see that. He gets a little bit narrowed in on his guy. But, looking at the initial rep, we're seeing inside hands here. We're seeing, I'd say he's leaning forward a little bit too much here. This is kind of what I've been noticing. So what he was having problems with is his hands were landing high while he was up high, and now his hands are landing inside, which is good, but he's still a little high. You can kind of see like he doesn't have a whole lot of flexibility to drop into this anchor right here because he's reaching with his upper body, but he does show that physical strength as he's able to use his feet. And I thought he was having a good rep there until, he kind of misses. Him and Jones kind of mix up that. It's pretty late in the rep. Like, I'm not overly concerned about that because, it's hard to tell who wasn't communicating on this one, and Jones follows his man into. So, we see here, Jones didn't come off to pick up that man. So they both kind of flubbed that one. So it just looks like poor communication. So something to keep an eye on for sure. We kind of saw him process a stunt well and then kind of struggle on that one. But, obviously we're seeing consistently better hand placement in these reps. Going to get into a couple run reps here because, ironically, this is where I didn't really have any issues with him. Now I'm kind of seeing him struggle with leverage. So we're going to have to drive 96 here, and we're going to do an okay job. But what he's not doing here, so this is a double team, and 96 is going to anchor against him and Jones, but we're high in our stance here. We need to be cutting up closer this way because we want to pass him to Jones and then move into the second level, and we completely lose leverage. So just kind of, he's got to get across quicker right there, and then we got to stay low. This was just low man wins. You can see right here, watch 96, push up right there, and he pops up Vorhees pads, and then right there, he's just earning that gap. So that's something that we got to do a little bit better in the run game. He ends up on the ground. We get into another rep here where we're going to work another double team with Jones. So this is looking like duos. We got our two double teams here on the inside. So he's got to work off that and continue to drive. And then you see him get tossed there. And so, again, this is just these double teams are driving me nuts. So if they're going to run a double team, we got to make sure we have that inside leverage if I'm the inside man. We want to squeeze that double team and eventually overtake it, but maintain our leverage. We both have our helmet on the outside, and the defender just kind of rips him in there. So he gains no real leverage throughout the rep. Here it gets a little bit better, but, he's standing him up. The defender's standing him up, and, he's just peeking into the gap, and then as he sees Collier cut to the right side, he's going to push him down right here and shed him. So just natural leverage. It's kind of like some of the issues I was having in the pass game, which got a little bit better, but now we're seeing them in the run game. So it's this type of inconsistency where there's going to be growing pains. The thing to remember, Andrew Vorhees still technically kind of a rookie, so I'm not overly concerned. I wanted to see improvement. I think we have seen that improvement, especially since last week, which is good. And then here we're going to see a solid rep. You're going to see Falele get swam real bad on the right side, but he's going to squeeze that double team with Nick Samak, and this is looking like a duo play here where they're going to run that, and he's got to kind of work his way into the second level. Collier is reading that linebacker as he steps up. He kind of saw him peek to the B gap and then come back, so I think that's why he cut, but I think that him and Samak did a really good job because if that gap gets run through, Vorhees is starting to come off that block as the running back's taking the ball, and I think would have had a good shot. Even when 53 peeks up here, you can kind of see Vorhees' helmet up looking at him, so he's hoping to come off that block and get in there, but the running back comes back reacting to Collier's pass. So in my opinion, in this play, this is a bad read by Collier. I know he's reading this linebacker, sees him peek there, and that's why he cuts back. But you have to know you got that double team block here and that he's coming off. So I'm following my blocks on this one, pulling through here, and I think Vorhees would have had a decent shot because you can see him moving this way to get into that second level. So it was nice to see him work a double team well here. Again, just one more. I thought he passed really well to Samak and then started to move into the second level. So there's definitely no doubt about it. Some things that he needs to work on. I think there's going to be growing pains if he is the week one starter. But drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do those pass block snaps give you guys a little bit more courage, confidence, we'll call it, in Andrew Vorhees as a starter, or what do you guys think? Hit that like button for me. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Thanks again to DNL Tinting for sponsoring this video, brought to you today on the Russell Street Report. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.